Go. Hello and welcome to the preview of the game taking place at Molineux on a Sunday between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Leicester. With me, we have, as usual, the Wolves VAVEL editor Josh Holland, and we also have joining us Leicester VAVEL writer Jack Johnson. How are the both of you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, good, thank you, Ben. How are you?
Good. I'm not too bad, thank you. Good to hear. Going on to you first, Josh. Wolves are coming off the back of a good victory last time out. First win in 8 games over Arsenal, 2-1 at Molineux. It's a good foundation to build on, against a team who are in fine form this season in Leicester City. How do you see this one going? And what do you expect from the Wanderers on Sunday?
I think it will be an even more challenging game to the one that Wolves were faced on Tuesday. I think you look at the table and you look at even Leicester's players and their results this season, they've had a better season than Arsenal. They're probably even a better team at the moment. So I don't think if we're going back to the game between the two sides early in the season, I don't think we've got much to feed on because the game wasn't the most entertaining. But you got to beat Arsenal 2-1. The confidence is going to be flowing. You have got to always think of Wolves as a counter-attacking team. So it's going to be counter-attacking versus, well, Leicester's not really a counter-attacking team anymore, are they? They're more of a all-round general team. So it's going to be a challenging game for Wolves, I think.
Yeah, definitely. How do you believe they will set up? Obviously, went for the 4 at the back against Arsenal. It did work, it can be argued, because they did get the victory. But when it was 11 on 11, it was clear that they were getting torn open. I think it's fair to say at times with the 4 at the back. So can you see them reverting to a 3 or stick to a winning formation, if you like?
I genuinely don't know what Nuno's going to do. I think Brendan Rodgers said earlier that Vardy's going to feature, but he might start on the bench, and that Ndidi's not. He's not 100% on Ndidi. So I think Nuno will be thinking if Vardy plays a back 3, he's probably more suited. But if he doesn't, it's Kelechi and Iheanacho. I do think the 4 at the back will be more suited for Leicester City's attacking press. I do think, though, like we've said on the podcast before, the 4 at the back did cause Wolves some problems against Arsenal in the opening half until David Luiz got red carded. So I do think they do go to the back 4. They've got to expect to concede possession, concede chances to Leicester and try and catch them out on the break. And obviously with Leicester being without Wes Fofana and possibly having the centre-back partnership of Kaglos Soyuncu and Johnny Evans, I do think maybe they can. There's a gap there for Wolves to break and potentially get something like they did on Tuesday. But again, I don't actually know or have any idea what I think he'll do.
And for Leicester, Jackie, you've had a fine season so far, sitting 3rd in the table after 22 games, and particularly away from home, you've been formidable. 8 wins in 11 Premier League games. How do you see this from a Leicester point of view? Obviously, Molineux, a place that you've had a little bit of a torrid time in recent years, only won 2 of your last 19 games in all competitions there. But if any, this must be the time that you would expect them to beat them and claim 3 points off them, considering the form both teams are in.
Yeah, like you said, we don't have the best of times when we play away at Wolves, but I think with their current injury problems, and like Josh was just saying, the decision of going back 4, back 3 is a good chance to pounce on them, as you were talking about the start of the Arsenal game as well. If you start with that back 4, I think Leicester are going to be so keen to get on that front foot, get that early goal. I think you could see a similar start to the next game, to the game on Sunday, with just constant Leicester attack trying to break down that back 4. And I think they'll be confident headed into it because we lost to Leeds. That knocked the confidence a bit, but coming straight back with that win against Fulham, I think if it's so important for us to win this game on Sunday. So I think Rodgers will be drilling that into the players.
And in terms of team news for yourselves, obviously Vardy's a little bit of touch and go whether he'll feature. Obviously, it's looking like Ndidi's going to be out. Same with Castagna and Fofana. What can you give us in terms of team news and that effect that'll have for such a big encounter?
Yeah, so I think Fofana and Castagna are definitely out for the game. So, like Josh was saying, we've obviously got Soyuncu come in, which isn't a bad backup because he was a starter last year. His injury was bad timing, and Fofana coming in kind of kept him out. But he'll slot straight back in, and he's comfortable next to Evans. Castagna isn't too much of a miss. He was been brilliant. But then obviously it's coincided well with the return of Ricardo, who's I consider one of the best right backs in the league. So he'll slot back in, and we've obviously got Justin, who's in the form of his life, pushing for that England spot on the left. So I think defensively we should be okay. It's just the depth there. If we do pick up another injury, then during the game that could be a problem. And then obviously Vardy and Ndidi, Rodgers has said they are both in contention, but whether they start or not, that's the main question. I think Ndidi's hugely important for breaking up those counter attacks of Wolves. They're going to be coming straight at us, so having Ndidi there to break it up, get into those positions to stop Traore and Neto breaking away, that'll be quite key. And then when it comes to Vardy, Iheanacho scored on Wednesday, and I think he's a massive confidence player. So having him start again, I think would be good for his own confidence, giving him that other starting position again, maybe getting another goal. That's good for his personal play. But I think when it comes to Vardy, if he's fit enough, he is going to be starting. So it all comes down to that decision. If Rodgers wants to take that risk of him maybe getting injured again and make him start, I'm not too sure if he'll start or not, but it's definitely a possibility.
You mentioned Iheanacho there. Obviously, with Vardy's absence, it's been a little bit similar. With Jimenez absence for Wolves, obviously a lot more long term, but the influence that both players have going forward on the attack with their clubs. How do you think Leicester have coped without the presence of Vardy? Obviously, you've played Perez on some occasions, and most notably against Leeds, it didn't quite work out. But Iheanacho's come in again last time out against Fulham, got that goal, and always looked bright, and was even rewarded the man of the match award. So how have the club and Brendan Rodgers' team coped without the threat of Jamie Vardy?
I think if you look at previous seasons, it would have been a much bigger loss because we relied a lot heavier on Vardy to score the goals. Whereas now we're getting goals from all over the pitch. Maddison's scoring goals, Barnes is scoring goals, even Tielemans is getting in goals. So the goals are coming from all over the pitch. So I think we're coping okay, but obviously, especially in that Leeds game, we missed his presence a lot, like dragging the centre-backs out of position, letting other players move in, and that's what we lack when we play Iheanacho and Perez. But I'm happy for Iheanacho that he scored against Fulham, and I'm hoping if he does start on Sunday, he'll be able to get himself another goal and his confidence will be sky high then.
And my final question before we just go on to the predictions ahead of Sunday's game. Josh mentioned that a way to get through maybe to Leicester from a Wolves perspective is to, maybe try to break through the partnership of Soyuncu and Evans without the presence of Wesley Fofana. Depending on what style and what formation that Nuno Espirito Santo plays, where do you see their weakness lies, and where do you think Leicester City should target going downwards? What should their game plan be going into the game at Molineux?
Well, we were talking earlier about the formation and that uncertainty of the 4 and the 3. You've obviously got Kilman, who's playing left back, who will play left back against Arsenal. He could be an area to exploit youngsters. It could be a good area to force the play, especially with Ricardo down that right hand side. I think it will definitely be the width because Semedo has also looked shaky for Wolves. And Harvey Barnes has been on some good form. So if you get him bombing down that left-hand side, getting the balls into the area, and Iheanacho, if he does start, he's great at finding that space in the box. So I think out wide will be a key area for us.
Do you think, Josh, that based on what JJ's said there, that for Wolves, whether you play a 4 or 3 at the back, that it's important that they do sit in a little bit deeper because they don't want to lose the ball high up the field and then, give the likes of Harvey Barnes, who's been in scintillating form this season, and Iheanacho with his pace, Maddison with the quality that he possesses in behind the likes of Conor Cody, Willy Bolly and Nelson Semedo?
Yeah, I don't think it's in Nuno's team's DNA to sit back and let a team have possession. I don't think, even with all the players that Leicester have got, the Barnes, the Maddisons, even the Vardys, if he plays, they are really talented players. And obviously, you've got people like Youri Tielemans, which I think Jack will agree, when he plays well, Leicester play well. So if he's ticking, then Wolves will have a problem. But I don't think Wolves will be happy to sit back and let them have possession. Leicester probably will have the majority of the possession in the game. When we look at the stats at the end, it will probably be more on Leicester's side. But I do feel Wolves will be aware that if they're going to get anything out of this game, they have to attack Leicester. You look at Leeds, Leeds didn't sit back and let Leicester have possession. Obviously, the second half, when Leicester made that tactical change, they enjoyed a lot of the possession, but Leeds did know what to do. And I think Nuno will have a look at that game and know what areas of Brendan Rodgers' side his team can attack.
Yeah, definitely. And just a note to finish off on, we'll start with you, JJ, on this one in terms of a score prediction. Its last couple of games have been a little bit drab, to say the least. Obviously, early on in the season, it was Leicester 1, Wolves 0, Jamie Vardy penalty deciding the 3 points to Leicester that time around, but there weren't many opportunities, and it was a game where not much happened and not much to split the two teams. That's to say for sure. Can you see it being a similar pattern, or can you see it being a bit more open?
I think it could be a bit more open this time round because it's a bit now. I think both teams need the result. Wolves are obviously struggling. They need to get this result off the back of the win against Arsenal. Same with Leicester. They've got to get that consecutive win, get that form. I think it'll be. I think for Leicester, they'll be able to break through. Wolves have had a few defensive problems, and obviously with our attacking form and the goals we've been scoring, I think we'll be able to break through. And even with Fofana not there, Soncha is a brilliant replacement, and and obviously Willian Jose's came in for Wolves, and he could provide a threat. But I think Leicester will be good enough to hold on. I'm going to predict a 2-0 win for Leicester.
Brilliant. And for you, Josh, what going into the game, it's still 2 days away, but what are your initial thoughts and what's your score prediction going into the clash at Molineux?
I'd say that Leicester are probably clear favourites going into the game. I think Wolves have got quite a poor home record. They've already lost 4 times, and Leicester have only lost once on the road in the league. So a year ago, it would have been a tough game for Leicester. Obviously, I think they drew 0-0 on Valentine's Day last February, and Wolves had the goal disallowed. But you look at Wolves now compared to that, it's a complete different side. I do think Leicester. I think Leicester will win. I'm going to say 2-1 Leicester, but yeah, my prediction is 2-1 Leicester. I'd say Iheanacho and Vardy.
Brilliant. Thank you for the both of you for joining me this evening ahead of the game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Leicester City. Let's hope for an intriguing game on Sunday. Thank you, boys.